Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's June 17th, 2014. I'm Logan Burgess. To my right here is Cody Bills to help break down a negative day for corn and soybeans in Chicago. Corn was down 2 1/4. Soybeans off 23 cents on the July contract. Chicago wheat was picking up a penny here on the day, but a relatively quiet trade day there today for wheat. Once again, the big story was the spreads that we're seeing in the soybean market. Take a look here at this July-November spread. You can see here once again moving quite a bit lower today, off about 18 cents. Now, we've been talking about that as a negative factor for the July contract in particular as the spread unwinds. Was that the only thing pressuring soybeans today, Cody, or what else in your opinion was kind of helping this market move lower?
Well, I think technically when you take a look at the next slide here, which is the daily chart, you'll note for the July contract, you'll notice that we fell right through the 100-day moving average. That was an area that we paused at. As soon as we went down through that 100-day moving average and the low that was printed a couple days ago, we unwound a little bit, and then we ended up closing the day down there. The bottom line here is that it seems as though all the positive news, any positive news that's coming out in soybeans is being reacted to negatively. One thing you'll notice is that in China, inland demand seems to be met for the most part after weeks and weeks of Chinese soybean state auctions. And what we saw here was that today, 72,000 metric tons were sold in the state auction. That was half of what was sold last week. These auctions seem to be, we're seeing trickling amounts of soybeans sold in the inland part of China. Those were sold for $650 per metric ton. But all in all,
You know, another story that seems, I guess, just in the U.S. domestic market has been some concern about old crop soybean basis as well. Last week we did see basis strengthen a bit on the old crop, but you know that was in an environment where we had futures selling off substantially. So there definitely are concerns about U.S. basis here at this point for the old crop, and that seems to be another item that could be pressuring this old crop bean market.
Yeah, we do know that that there is talk in the cash market that people have, for the most part, a lot of these companies have their needs met through August. I think that will be that's a story that will be told in the cash market. And like you said, we did get a rally back, but that was due to significant selling last week. We got a rally back in basis. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not basis is going to continue to move higher here, or if basis is going to weaken as prices fall apart here. I would suspect we get a little bit of strengthening in the cash market.
Yeah, well, one thing to take a look at here as we move forward, obviously, is going to be weather. If we remember yesterday's GrainTV, we talked about crop progress numbers. Corn now rated 76% good to excellent. Soybeans down 1% on the week there, 74% good to excellent. One area of concern right now has been the northern grain belt. Talking to producers here in the office, Minnesota, North Dakota right now, a lot of fields are saturated. If you take a look at this 8 to 10 day forecast, you can see that we do have expectations for a drying pattern to develop over that northern grain belt. Out east, where some fields are wet as well, specifically talking to producers in southern Indiana, it does, however, look like we're going to continue to get some moisture there. What we're seeing right now in the forecast, though, I don't think is going to change the outlook here. Right now, the weather outlook, the production side, remains quite bearish. Really not a lot for the bulls to get excited about. Obviously, the next big item on the plate here is the June 30th report. And one thing to keep in mind coming into that report is how many acres we saw shifted from corn into soybeans. A couple weeks ago, we saw Informa come out with their numbers. They're not under the impression that we saw a major acreage shift, but here on GrainTV and in the markets in general, that's going to be a focus here as we move over the next 2 weeks.
Absolutely, and just really the major theme here, another day of selling, another day of some momentum being gained to the downside for soybeans, but no major fundamental turning point, no major piece of news that's driving it. So it just looks as though we're seeing some liquidation here in funds, and we're seeing some liquidation for that long bull spread between July and November. Thanks a lot for tuning in. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, give us a call at 877-472-4607. We'll see you here on Wednesday.